There are 4 benefits of eating beetroots. You've probably heard about the first one and the second one, but the third and fourth may surprise you because they really are important. Also included when I finish that, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you the 2 types of people that really should not be eating beetroots. So let's just get into it. The first benefit of eating beetroots is our blood pressure, and beets have a tremendous amount of nitrates in them, and nitrates are converted by our body into something called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a gas. It's inside our arteries, and it allows our arteries to expand and become pliable. That's important because when our heart beats and it pushes blood through our arteries, if our arteries can expand, there's less pressure in the arteries. That's how blood pressure goes down if you eat beets. The second benefit is better cardiovascular fitness. When you exercise, you need nutrients and oxygen to get to the muscles so that they continuously contract over a period of time. Because beets have nitrates and it produces nitric oxide, dilation of blood vessels. If the blood vessels are open, more blood and more oxygen can get to your muscle. Beets will also improve mitochondrial function, which if you know about that, that's how ATP is produced. Thus, that's the energy of the cell, and it improves our lung capacity. So from a cardiovascular perspective, if you're doing sports like cycling, running, rowing, swimming, paddleboarding, that type of thing, then beets will actually improve your athletic performance. I don't actually tell everyone that because why would you tell the competition? So, I just take something a couple hours before a competition, but it's not something I advertise. The third great benefit of beetroots is for our immunity, and people usually associate beetroots with blood pressure, but they don't really think of the immunity, but it has a tremendous amount of vitamins in it. Vitamin C, B9, which is folate, potassium, iron, and again, that iron is important for our immunity, but it's also important for cardiovascular exercise because iron is important for the transportation of oxygen to our tissues. These are all nutrients that are necessary for proper immune function. The fourth and final benefit of beets, and most people don't think of this again, but it reduces the amount of fat inside your liver. If you have a diet that you've been following for a long period of time and you're starting to develop a fatty liver, this is something that is very important that you stop doing. And the reason why is because sure, they have kidney transplants and sure they have liver transplants, but there aren't many out there. So you want to keep your liver and kidneys nice and healthy. And if you're developing a fatty liver for whatever reason, beetroots will actually help dissolve the fats inside your liver, restoring proper liver function. Okay, great. Sounds good. So you're ready to buy something like a beetroot supplement, or you're ready to start going to the store and getting organic beets and boiling them and putting them in your salads and making smoothies. You're ready to go. Well, hold tight. There are actually 2 people that probably should not be utilizing beets as a form of improving their health. The first person is a person trying to go on a ketogenic diet. A ketogenic diet is where you need to eat a lot of fat and a lot of protein and really keep your carbohydrates down. Because beetroots are a vegetable, by default, they have carbohydrates in them. So if you're trying to restrict your carbohydrates to, let's say, 10 grams a day or 20 grams a day, you don't want to be eating too many beets. So beets tend to be something that people, it's like stepping over dollar bills to pick up pennies. Sure, beets have carbohydrates in them, but they're extremely healthy. But if you're trying to avoid all carbohydrates, then you simply cannot eat beets. The second type of person who should not be eating beets is the type of person that develops frequent kidney stones. Now, there are different types of kidney stones, so just because you have kidney stones or had kidney stones in the past does not mean you cannot eat beets. You need to find out specifically what type of kidney stones that you form. Now, there are some issues with beets. The first is they do have a lot of oxalates, and oxalates can become kidney stones in our body if we're susceptible to it. The way to get rid of oxalates is to boil in water the vegetable. So whether we're talking about spinach or whether we're talking about beets, if you boil the beet, then what happens is the oxalates will go out into the water and you just discard the water. It can reduce the oxalates in most vegetables up to 90%. Secondly, if you are going to eat beets, but you do have a propensity towards forming kidney stones, make sure and eat some vegetables or something with calcium, because calcium will bind to the oxalates so that they won't be absorbed as much. And that's a nice little trick, a nutritional trick, so that you don't form kidney stones if you are eating beets. So there are many ways to consume beets. You can consume them raw, you can steam them, you can cook them, you could bake them, you could boil them. Probably the best way is to boil them, because that way the oxalates are gone, like I mentioned before. But regardless of that, very often when you use your hands, it's gonna stain your hands, especially the red beets. It almost looks like, you know, a Halloween scene. So it's not good. It gets on your clothes. If you're using a wood cutting board, it's gonna stain your wood cutting board. And of course, if there's red all over your hands, no one likes to go to a chiropractor where it looks like there's blood on their hands. Bad advertising. So one of the things that you can do is take a supplement. This is a supplement from Nature's Pure Blend, and this is called Organic Beets. And what you do is you take 2 capsules of this. It has 1,500 milligrams of beetroot. And so what happens with this is this can give you the benefits of the beetroots that we're looking for, and without actually eating the actual food. You are technically eating it because it's just beetroot powder in a capsule. But this is a great product. You take 2 of them a day. It supplies enough to give you a tremendous amount of benefit that you probably are looking for. If you are looking for how specifically beets do lower blood pressure and you want to know more about that, then in this box right here at the bottom, I'm going to leave another video. Make sure and watch that video, because if you're going to start using beets as a food for health benefits, you want to understand exactly how they work.